Okay, hopefully this is working. Hi, my name is Allie, and I work for Pinellas County as an environmental scientist, and I am a graduate student in the Soil and Water Science Department. Today, I'll be demonstrating a field technique using sonar and point-intercept mapping. The field technique I will be demonstrating is used for various things, including aquatic vegetation monitoring, invasive plant management, sport fish, and fish community research. The map to the right is an output created from the devices used. This map shows presence of hydrilla, a very common invasive species in Florida. This is Lake Escapoga by Kevin Johnson, who works for FWC. So why we did this is Lake Seminole in Pinellas County is a larger lake. It is surrounded by an urban watershed, which increases inputs through stormwater. And these excess inputs of nutrient fuel our hydrilla problem, and our lake managers are working on various ways to combat this invasive plant. One of those ways is using an herbicide called Procelicor. For this type of herbicide, you need to know the exact biovolume in areas of hotspot hydrilla, so they can apply it directly to those larger areas. So we are mapping that, and it will also provide a baseline data set that can be used for long-term monitoring and also tracking vegetation trends over time. And so we do this through a Lowrance sonar unit that costs about $800 in combination with bio-based processing software. And that is actually free to government workers and students. And lastly, a ground truthing device. You can use a Frotis, or you can make something. It just has to be able to grab a vegetation from various depths. So these are a few pictures of the Lowrance. That is the GPS unit. The middle graphic is just kind of explaining how that works. It pings the bottom surface, and if there's a signature for vegetation, it shows up as a darker red hue on the screen. And on the right, the black, it's a little off-center, but the black probe sticking out is the Lowrance unit, and the gray one is our normal Garmin GPS. So the method used is to drive transects throughout the lake at less than 5 miles an hour. These transects are no more than 40 meters apart, and the sonar records vegetation signatures, which are then saved onto the drive. At every point, you deploy the grab device and identify and record the species present. So at the bottom, you can see the Frotis, which is pretty common for submerged sampling, but we also made this larger device using a PVC pipe and screws, and that was just easier to keep pulling up and down and up off the boat compared to a Frotis. So now I will show you the demonstration. It's a little loud because it was windy that day, so hopefully you don't get blasted. This method is called point-intercept mapping. And let's go ahead and play.
I am ground truthing, and I put this down and I'm twirling it like spaghetti. Oh god.
You're gonna get a lot.
Hydrilla.
So in that one, what we'll do is
Cara.
I can both grab those. For point one, we're in area and we're in point two. You're gonna put hydrilla under this number 2.
And now you can see the boat is moving.
And balance now.
And we're recording any species we find in order of dominance.
Oh, you're going by dominant and non-dominant? Okay. Oh my god.
this one, I almost got pulled off the boat.
So this stuff that she's doing.
I snagged on the bottom. Probably should have been wearing a life jacket.
Oh. That first map, you see all the points. That's what we're doing. So what do you do?
First one's got lost.
Map that's on the inside there.
Oh yeah.
Again, I apologize for the wind. Okay, so here is just a small section of what we did at the north end of the lake, and you can see the software biobase interpolates the data and fills in those gaps and will eventually provide us with a completed map. It also does bathymetry, so we're able to do both of those outputs, which is going to significantly help us. This section took about 2 hours and we sampled 150 points. So once this map is completed, it will aid in lake managers. It'll aid lake managers with vegetation management. Overall, some pros: it's easy to use. You hit log and you drive 5 miles an hour. The bio-based software is free. The grab device, again, we use stuff around the garage, so it was free for us, but cheap to make if you had to. And the output is extremely useful for long-term monitoring and vegetation management. Some of the cons is that the low rents is pricey. It's $800. And when you do this type of monitoring, you get into some shallow areas where the bottom of the boat gets roughed up, and we actually had slightly scratched that unit the first day. So it's kind of pricey for being in such a rigorous field method. Could get damaged easily. The other cons are grabbing the veg can be challenging. One, it can be really heavy, and I did have to switch off with somebody halfway through. And two, if you snag with anything on the bottom, you can get pulled into the water. But overall, it's a simple tool, and it's a really powerful output. So thank you for allowing me to show you that. And if you would like to shadow any of Pinellas County's monitoring programs in the Tampa Bay area, you can contact me at amauer@pinellascounty.org. Thank you.